Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to start your own sourdough starter. And at the end, I'll show you how to bake your first loaf. So hopefully you enjoy the video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks. On day one, all we do is mix together 50 grams of whole wheat flour, 50 grams of white unbleached bread flour, and 100 grams of filtered water. Now all we do is cover this and set it aside in a warm place until tomorrow about the same time. On day two, all we're going to do is add 50 grams of white bread flour, 50 grams of whole wheat flour, and another 100 grams of filtered water. And again, we will cover this and set aside in a warm place until tomorrow when we feed it again at about the same time. And again, on day three, we do the same as we did on day two. We add 50 grams of whole wheat flour, 50 grams of white bread flour, and 100 grams of filtered water. And again, we'll cover it and set it aside until tomorrow's feeding. And here on day four, we can see some activity. We'll see some bubbles. On day four, we will measure out 100 grams of our starter. To this, we will discontinue the whole wheat and we will add 100 grams of bread flour and 100 grams of filtered water. And when we're done, we'll cover this loosely and set aside till tomorrow. On day five, we will do the same as we did on day four. 100 grams measured out of starter, 100 grams of white bread flour, and 100 grams of filtered water. And again, we'll cover and set aside until the next day. Day six is the same as day 4 and 5. And this will be your standard process every day feeding your sourdough going forward. You'll feed it equal parts, 1 to 1 to 1, starter, white bread flour, and filtered water. And again, on day 7, we're doing our standard feeding of 100 grams starter, 100 grams bread flour, and 100 grams filtered water. And once it's well mixed, we will cover it loosely and set it aside until tomorrow. And here you can see our rise on day 7, 3 hours after feeding. Okay, it's been about 4 hours, and you can see our sourdough that we fed this morning, it's way more than doubled, maybe not quite tripled. And if you look, you can see lots of bubbles in there, and it's ready to go. Okay, so I have everything pre-measured out now. We have 400 grams of warm water. It's 95 degrees. Put that in the bottom of my KitchenAid mixing bowl. Then we have 460 grams of our active fed starter. Get that in the bowl. 460 grams of starter. That's a lot of starter, but it allows us to have a short bulk fermentation time. Okay, now we'll set this aside. Now we want to combine all of our dry ingredients. So we have 600 grams of white bread flour, 90 grams of dark rye. You can use wheat, you can use medium rye, you can use semolina, just some sort of other flour I find makes for a nicer loaf. And then we have 20 grams of fine sea salt. Okay. I'm going to take my whisk and I'm going to whisk this together. Bring my mixing bowl over. And we're going to put this gently into the bowl. We want to keep the dry ingredients sort of floating on top of the wet. It just mixes better in the mixer this way. Okay, now we're going to put this on the mixer. We're going to set it on its lowest setting with the dough hook, and we're going to let it run for 10 minutes on the lowest setting. All right, so I'll come back when this is ready. Okay, so the dough is mixed, and we're going to turn it on out into my bowl here. The whole point of letting it run on the mixer for 10 minutes is that's replacing your kneading time. So basically you're letting your machine do your kneading for you. Okay. And here's what your mixed dough looks like. All right, and then the last step at this phase is I just like to tidy it up in the bowl. I think it makes the next step, which is going to be the stretch and folds, I think it makes it a little, at least the first one, a little easier. So you're just going to kind of go around and fold it in on itself a few times, and then once it starts to come together, just pick it up. Set it down. It's sticking a little bit, so warm water will keep this dough from sticking to your hand too much, but it only lasts for so long. The more you work it, the less effective it is. Okay, so we got a nice little ball. Now we're going to cover this. And we're going to leave it sit on the counter for 30 minutes. And then we'll come back and do our first stretch and fold. We're going to do 2 sets of stretch and folds on this dough. So I'll see you in 30 minutes. Okay, it's been 30 minutes now. It's time for the first set of stretch and folds. And if you can take a look, you can see that the dough's relaxed now and spread out. Remember, I left it a tight ball when I put it away. A little bit of warm water just so the dough doesn't stick. Shake off the excess water. I'm going to do 1, stretch and fold. 2, stretch, fold. 3, stretch, fold. And 4, stretch and fold. And then clean off our fingers. And then we're just going to tidy up the dough real quick. As you can see, it's fairly a tight ball now. We'll see what it looks like after 30 minutes. Okay, so it's been another 30 minutes. And you can see the dough is relaxed again. This is going to be the second set of stretcher folds. Stretch it, fold, stretch, fold, stretch, fold. And you can see it's much tighter than it was the last time. And then just go around a little bit, turn it over, and tidy it up in the bowl. So now we'll let this sit on the counter for an hour and 30 minutes, at which point it should be ready to shape, put in the proofing baskets, and put in the refrigerator until tomorrow for baking. Okay, so it's been an hour and a half and we're ready to shape our dough. So first thing I want to do is, just for fun, we're going to put these in the proofing baskets without the liners. So we're just going to flour it a little bit. Bowl scraper, tip this up and just release this dough from the bowl nice and gently. I want to cut this right in half. And the next thing you want to do is gather one side, and then just gather it all towards the middle. And then turn it over onto the dry side of the mat here. And turn and pull, turn and pull. Just keep doing this until you get a nice little bowl or round. Okay, then I'm going to go like this, turning it and tucking it at the same time, using this hand to just kind of guide it. All right, let's turn it over and see what we got. A couple more turns. Okay, now we'll put a little flour on the top of the loaf. And we'll turn it over into the proofing basket. And you'll see that it's not bunched together, it's nice and smooth. That's the way you want it to look. Put a little flour on there.